All right. For the Facebook people who may be watching, this is not my song. Due to copyright privileges, we are announcing this in advance. But these songs don't belong to us. So please give us grace. So if you are joining or as you are joining, tag a friend so we can get started. We always come on a few minutes early. You got some time to join. Tag a friend. From your love, you see, I came back to let you know. Let's see, you guys are joining us. Y'all still got the new do. Y'all know what time it is. What you won't do. Y'all remember this? As you guys are joining, tell us who this is. I wouldn't have guessed it because I don't know if I even knew this name. We had a lot of great music back in the day. We still got some good music, but these are timeless songs. Again, this is a song that we are sharing today. And we want to make sure that we don't get in trouble with the copyright gods, little G, on playing their music. This is Bobby Caldwell. What you do, what you won't do for love. So we're giving credit where credit is due. Oh, look at you, Ryan Green. How did you know that? I didn't even know it. Good for you. Ryan, you a little bit older than I thought. Ryan, I thought you was about 18, 19. Now you swole. I don't know how old you are now. How old you, Ryan? I'll hook you up too. Thank you guys for joining us tonight. 36. Oh, come on, Ryan. I didn't think he was over like 20 years old. As long as I've known you. That's a compliment, Ryan. That's a compliment. So welcome again, everyone. We are going to get started at the top of the hour in just a couple more minutes. Right. Yeah, I know, Ryan. Would y'all do us a favor as you're joining tonight? Would you tag a friend so that they can listen in on our last and final episode for our special guest or with our special guest tonight? And I promise you guys, we will not be disappointed. We had a lot of people that joined last week. We had about 400 views. I know that doesn't sound like a whole lot to people that have like large followings, but it is. Our goal is not Something happened. Baby, grab my laptop, please. Fuller, grab my laptop, please. Something happened with the computer stairs. Yes. All righty, are we back? Deborah Poe, I know you're in the background. Are we okay? Can you see me? Okay, yes. Whew. Y'all, I tell you, the technology people, no, I'm good, babe. Tell you, the technology stuff that happens, all of a sudden the screen was doing this just now. Y'all may not have been able to see it, but on my side it was spinning. Great evening, Valerie Adams. Welcome to our meeting tonight. And actually, it is 6 o'clock. Let me see. Let's see. Oh man, y'all know I always got some good songs. I'm sorry, I gotta play this, just a little bit of it. While you guys tag somebody and ask them to join us tonight, this is our final episode, really part 3 of our time with our guests tonight. We wanna make sure you guys don't miss out on this part of the conversation. I have no earthly idea what all is going to transpire tonight, but I know it's going to be absolutely wonderful. And look here, my sidekick has joined us. He has arrived. And so I am so glad. I'm so excited, you guys. And you know what? Hey, Carmela. You know why I'm excited? Why, baby? Thank you for asking. I'll tell you why. Because today is, yes, Halloween. Y'all check out the background. Y'all like the little orange and you like that, babe? Oh, yeah, isn't that cute? I went and designed that myself and came up with, so just blowing me off, you guys. Okay. But yes, today is Halloween, but we're not doing this. Well, I like the fall colors, you know. I was telling Fuller this morning, I'm feeling like I'm in vacation mode. Some of you can see, of course, all of you can see, got a little new do. What's up, Vera? Got a new do as we are preparing for our trip to Paris, that we are going to be gone for a week and maybe a few days. And so we are super excited about that.
A week and a half.
About a week and a half. And so I tell you, our room looks like a hot mess because Fuller got stuff everywhere. It's not my stuff. Fuller got stuff everywhere. And so, but look, you guys, we're not going to belabor what we're doing today. We want to go ahead and get started.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I just want to just inspire you to in life. There's something better that God has for you. Look, you might be in a bad place now. You might be recovering from the COVID blues. You might be a person that have had not just major health problems, but just little small ones. It's keep hitting, and it's one thing after another. Maybe it's the cold, maybe a flu, maybe the sinus, maybe a backache or a shoulder, and it just continue on. And the day the word of the Lord came to me, I was just riding, and the day just meditating and just thanking Him for His grace and being so happy. And I was just thinking, and God just spoke to me. He said, for every stage you are in your life, there's a grace. There is a grace. And this, I brought me to this scripture, and this is a New Living Standard. May God give you more and more grace and peace as you grow in the knowledge of God and in Jesus Christ. By His divine nature, God had given us everything we need to live a godly life. I mean, wow, everything we need. So it doesn't matter whether it's your age, you might have lost a loved one and a spouse. I know that Q couldn't have made it, I couldn't have made it if there wasn't a grace for a loss. And we know they're not lost, but we know where they are, but just for common conversation, so you understand that, well, for that loss. Is one of our members at our church, daughter was killed, and a place she went with her boyfriend, But the young lady has been writing some things down, and you should see the grace filled all over it. And if it wasn't for the Lord on her side, what would she do? And that don't care if your health, your age. I mean, some of us are late 50s, 60s, 70. And I ask God from this age, this time in my life, to show me the grace that's on my life. Show me the grace. And there's a grace for everything you need. There's a grace for dating. There's a grace for courting. There's a grace for a relationship. And so I just encourage you, there's something Hebrews said, he didn't give it to us now, but there was something better for us. And great grace. His grace is sufficient. His love is unending. His mercy is unending. So be encouraged, be a good cheer. Like he told Job, get up and dust yourself off, clean yourself off, get shaved and move. And he told the children of Israel after being in bondage 400 years, he said, put your sandals on. He said, get ready. He said, get ready to move. So I'm telling you, you're going to get ready to move, change locations, change the location in life, and change where you are in life. And also, the children of Israel walked around the mountain. He said, y'all skirted this mountain too long. You've been in Lodabar too long. Accept the grace of God and the knowledge of him and move out of whatever circumstance you're in that's holding you back. May God bless you real good today. Today. Yeah, today.
I was thinking about just talking to so many people that have lost. And we know, of course, yes, where they are. But Dean, we want to acknowledge and
Dean Phillips.
Dean Phillips, grace of God is just on her family. And I lost we always use, as we say lost, we don't really mean lost, but my sister-in-law in Texas, Jan Irvin, just a great woman of God, passed away. We were in Fort Worth, Dallas-Fort Worth area this past weekend. And, this Godfidence is about you having confidence in not yourself, but in God. So that's why it's called Godfidence. And we're continuing to have guests that have gone through life's challenges.
Right.
And nobody expected it. Nobody expected anything to happen with Dean. Nobody expected anything to happen with Jan. Nobody expected anything to happen with David and
Right.
Gene. But life does happen. And so we are here to talk about the challenges that we've gone through,
Right.
and bring other people into the fold to share that everything is going to be all right. We got people that are caregivers as well.
I'm telling you, you don't understand till you have to take care of somebody.
Yeah.
Listen. Let me tell you, God love you. Because I know how it is to be a caregiver. Sometimes the people can get mean. Sometimes they can be mad. But sometimes they don't know what's going on, and it's taxing. Sometimes you might be the only person in your member in your family that's showing up to take care of them. That's stressful, and it seems like nobody grateful for you, thankful that you are doing this. So God is not unjust to forget your work and labor and love for His name's sake. So I want to give a prayer out, a shout out of encouragement to all caregivers. Amen. Amen. Man, we got to get our partner on here now. We got to move. Yeah. So caregivers, my heart goes out to you. And like I said, be steadfast, unmovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord, knowing your labor, knowing your labor is not in vain in the Lord.
Yes. Amen. And everybody's posting saying that word.
Amen.
Because we jump in and we go, I like to kind of go right on in. So y'all slow me down to say, look, there's a word. There's an anointing.
Godfidence started based on the word and for the word. So that's what we always have to do. We have to give somebody some word first. Yes. But we play so much secular music and we laugh and cut up so much they wonder what we say. It's okay. So move on.
Sorry, you guys.
Keep it moving. Keep it moving.
I am saying, you guys. But look, tonight we came to belabor what we come to do also, which is so that you can hear from this outstanding woman of God that you guys have heard over the last few weeks. And I tell you, if it ain't blessed anybody, it's blessed me. I learned a lot about our special guest on part 3. Her name is none other than, there she go in the house. What's up, Deborah Poe?
Pastor Deborah Poe.
Hello.
Who've been breaking off wisdom like snapping a piece of paper or something. I mean, it's just flowing, man. I mean, out of her
Yeah.
abundance, out of the abundance of her heart, she have shared, helped me, set me free. Pastor revealing word and in the Tampa area,
Yes.
and they have 3 churches in that area, and we are excited and so honored to have her on the broadcast.
Revealing truth, right?
Revealing truth.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Revealing truth.
Yes.
Revealing truth.
No, Deborah Paul looks like
Oh,
she's
she
glowing.
look lovely.
She look good.
You're not dating yet, are you?
Hold on.
Okay, you jumping the
Oh,
gun. You jumping the gun.
Don't just start with that. But everybody inquired by Zoom. So as Paul has just kind of opened up the door for our conversation today, we've talked about everything from how things began with you, where you're from, Atlanta. Some people didn't even know that. I didn't know that. We've talked about your late spouse, which is Pastor Gregory Poe. We've talked about all kinds of things. We were leaving off last week with the things that people say. So I'm going to pick up with that, Deborah. On the most interesting things, because some of you are maybe you're joining for the first time, haven't watched part 1, haven't watched part 2, so you got to go back and watch those episodes. But Pastor Poe was just sharing, and forgive me, you guys, I said it in the last episodes. We're friends, so we're going to refer to each other by our first name, no disrespect. But as you guys are hearing that, I don't want anybody saying, "Did Darlene go Deborah? I ain't never known Darlene having no relationship with Deborah Poe." Okay, well, I do now. Okay, so anywho, but we were talking about, babe, I asked Deborah Poe about one of the most interesting things that people have said to her since, her spouse is deceased now. People come up to you and they say all kinds of stuff. So last week you shared just some interesting things that people have said. They've said what? Are you going to date somebody in your age bracket? Or are you dating somebody older, younger? Have you made that decision yet? It was probably but a couple of weeks after Greg Poe passed away, and they already asking cray questions. Right? Because they just don't know what to say. And then we said,
special guys.
Yes, but they don't know what to say. But we want to free the men tonight because we got some things that we want to make sure that you guys know how to handle. A woman of God like Deborah Poe. So, Deborah Poe, what's one other thing people have said to you? I'm just curious.
Well, I guess it wasn't really concerning our relationship. Somebody asked me if I was still going to church.
No.
Did you say
no?
H to the no?
No.
What is going on?
When you say that was interesting to me. I thought, well, yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think they mean, of course, I know that everybody means well. And do you think that they just meant, are you going to church right now since everything has happened? Have you been turned back to?
There you go, trying to clean things up. Why? You can make excuses for people.
And you're right. I just kind of looked and just answered them and said yes. So because I just understand sometimes, as you said, you don't have to answer people. You certainly don't owe them an explanation concerning anything. So I learned that a long time ago. So I'm just like, well, yes. And so they looked at me and I looked at them.
Let me, I'm gonna tell you, I want to say one of the things that somebody said to me. It was maybe 2 weeks after Jean had passed. And they said, when this over with, are you gonna go on vacation?
Oh yeah.
I'm saying, I've been married 50 years. Jean has always been with me. How do you go on vacation, that short of length of time, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and I'm gonna go on vacation? Well, who I'm going with? I'm helpless. At this time I'm helpless. So how do you do that?
I'm not sure I think sometimes people are curious and they don't know how to ask a question, so they just blurt it out. And so, yes, but I think probably the most interesting was what category was I going to date in, or if I was going to date, or even say, I know you can never replace Pastor Poe.
Yeah.
And, Darlene, and you and I discussed that I'm not trying to replace him.
Exactly.
I'm not trying to. The new relationship should be a different one. It should be
Yes.
exciting. It should be something new. No. I had a wonderful time with my husband, but
Right.
I'm not trying to duplicate
Right.
what is happening, because that's not fair to the person
It's not.
that you're going to be with if they're always having to live up to some other image that you have. No, you're looking for the fresh and new.
Right.
I've always told people, I'm not trying to relive the best day of my life, because I've already lived it.
Right.
I want to live something new, something exciting.
Right.
The Bible talks about there are different paths with an S on it in our lives. So, I mean, I'm just on a different path now. So my thinking has got to change. But yes, pretty much. And then after that, people kind of refrained from asking me questions.
Let me tell you this, Deborah Poe. Since we in the living room talking or we on the stage in the background talking. So I remember someone said to me, or actually said to a girlfriend of mine, two things. One girlfriend said to me, and I don't mind sharing, because even if the person joins, they'll hear that sometimes when we say things, a studio audience or audience Facebook Live, it's just good just to not say anything. When you don't know what to say, don't say anything. Or just say, hey, I'm just calling to check on you. So my girlfriend said, I know that David was, he was a very handsome man. He was, big, kind of like Ryan. Ryan was a thin kind of guy. Green. Ryan was a thin kind of guy. And all of a sudden, Ryan done blew up. Ryan got buff, and Ryan is fine. That's Ryan on Facebook Live. So David, same thing. David was a very thin frame guy, school teacher. He was very, polished. And then all of a sudden he blew up. He started lifting weights and started, really muscular. And so one of my girlfriends, she called me and she said, I'm just curious. I'm concerned about you, darling, because I know you like really good looking men. And she said, and I know you like muscular men from what I remember, 30 years ago? And so she said, I know you like muscular men. She says, are you sure you're making the right decision about, the guy that you're dating? And I said,
I thought that was so funny.
What are you talking about? She's talking about Fuller. Yeah, I never met him, never seen him, never, nothing. And I don't mind sharing that. So those are perspectives. Yeah, so if you listen, that's those types of things can be offensive, right? The second person asked another girlfriend of mine. So they had met, they saw Fuller at one of my get-togethers in my business, and they said, "Is that Mr. Quincy's replacement?"
Yep.
Y'all off for the chain. But I'm so thankful, Deborah Poe, that I'm who I am, because I can laugh at people's. You know what they say? Like, God forgive them, for they know not what they say. And because they don't, when you don't endow, it's like people want to measure the person now that you're with against the other person, and they're nowhere near not like. David wasn't a pastor. Bishop, I can't even compare. You won't be able to compare, when you begin to, or if you are, to the next person. It just is no comparison.
Right. And like I said, it's not fair. It's not fair to compare. And you know what? It's not fair for your friends to even compare.
Right. That's right. That's right.
I mean, it's awkward enough, I'm sure, to introduce someone to your new friends, because they have these preconceived ideas as to what you want.
Right. Yeah, they do.
So yeah, trying to keep everybody in a comfortable space sometimes can be, I guess you can call it, it's a tender place, trying to keep everybody comfortable and still be who you are at the same time. And so sometimes you just have to stop worrying about what they want for you and determine what you want for yourself.
Yes. So this. Go ahead, baby.
Okay, I was just piggybacking on something Deborah said earlier about comparing with Greg and that relationship that they had, that marriage they had for years. Well, Gene and I was in love. When you saw one of us, you saw the both of us. We was always together, doing things together. But I said to Darlene, I love Jean, and she was a great wife, but I want better. I want better. Nothing wrong. I mean, I cherish that relationship. I put an Oscar over there on that relationship. But And Darlene said, I want better too. She said, I want better. I had a good marriage, but I want better. Why should we settle for anything less than God trying to bring something else in our life? And that was just like when I challenged Darlene. She said, I gave her an ultimatum. But she hadn't expressed anything about how she felt or anything. And we was at the Best Buy, and I told her, I said, hey, I said, you been dating in your age group? How that been working for you?
Before you go too far, because I know some brothers need to hear from on dating.
And then I looked at it and I said, I was feeling my Cheerios then. I said, look, and you don't want all this?
I looked at Paul, so I started laughing. That's what I did, that Paul. I was like,
but I tell you what was interesting, Deborah, we was in the middle of COVID, and men and women are different. We was in the middle of COVID, and church was shut down. We couldn't go to church and nothing like that. So, man, these women began to send me pictures. Some of them had my personal number, but I had a work phone. And I'm talking about with all this hanging out. I mean, they were giving me an advertisement. I mean, it was, and that's the night I told Darlene too. I said, I showed her both of my phones and scrolled through them. I said, no, I ain't begging. I don't have to beg. I ain't, you got to let me know something here, cause you got to let me know. Message like, meet me in the park at 9 o'clock. All kind of stuff. I mean,
yeah. Oh, wow. Oh, my goodness. Well, I don't think it's quite like that when it comes to women. I don't know what your experience has been, Darlene, but it hadn't been quite that way. Look at her face. I mean, I've had people to approach me, and some of it was quite interesting, the approach. And I thought, oh, so is that how people do it now?
Right.
I'm not too sure if I'm into this. I need.
So what they doing, Deborah Poe? Come on, let's talk about you.
Let's see. I had what was I coming out of a grocery store? Some man is just going. Psst, psst. I'm thinking, what?
Who are he talking to?
Who is he talking to? And I just, politely went to my car. I've had people to hand me slips of paper, phone number.
On the paper, okay.
Phone number. And so I had a.
They don't say anything other than they hand you a sheet of paper?
Hello, how are you doing? I'm fine. They hand me a sheet of paper, and first person did it. I looked at it, I opened it, and I just looked at them. And they were like, that's my phone number. I looked at it. I looked at them. I'm thinking, we're in a post office. I don't know who you are. And
well, he was making a special delivery.
Oh, is that what it was? And so he said, I mean, if you just like to talk, just talk to somebody. And so I just looked at him and he said, you're not gonna call that number, are you? I said, no, I'm not. I'm not gonna call the number. But I think because of my particular situation, let me put it that way. There was a lot to be done at the church when Greg passed. There was a lot that I was doing and handling. So for the first few years, I just went back and forth to church. I mean, to the grocery store a little bit, but back and forth to church, back and forth to church. And because of my position in the church, I don't think any males wanted to actually approach me, because how do you really approach a pastor? Right. I mean, because I am your pastor. Right. How do you really approach a pastor? Do I call her Pastor Deborah? Do I call her Deborah? That may be offensive. I mean, what should I do? So anyways, I told Darlene, I said, that's pretty much how it has been. I have not been outside of my little circle. And when I am places, I'm normally with other people. And so, yeah, that's pretty much how it's been. I see people looking, I see people, interested, but they won't approach. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm not going to approach you. I guess maybe I'm too old fashioned. I don't really know. And at this particular point in time, I'm not saying no, but I'm not actually saying yes. I don't know if that makes any sense or not.
Mhm.
I do know that I want to make sure that I'm doing things for the right reason. And after we talked last week, I was going to tell you, ask me about being lonely. Ask me about being lonely. But while we're at this place, uh, actually, I wasn't feeling lonely. I was just, I think, because I was so busy and so focused on what I was doing, what I need, my obligations. I thought was to the ministry. But I just remember one Christmas. Was it Christmas? I think it was Christmas. New Year's. No, it was New Year's. I was leaving the church because we had our celebration, and as a norm, we normally would go out to eat with a group of people.
Mhm.
That included my children, but it was just what I call the after party.
Right.
I love after parties. I
Yes,
think it's just
yes.
so much fun. And so I was driving home, and I was feeling pretty happy about what had taken place. And then all of a sudden, I felt sad. I felt really sad, and I kept thinking, "Why am I sad? What is going on?" To the point I'm crying, and I can't even figure out why. And so I keep driving and driving. I'm like, God, what is this? This is a weird feeling for me. And then as I progressed along, I thought, oh, this is loneliness. Is this what this is? I feel alone because I left, and I'm accustomed to leaving with people,
Right.
going somewhere, doing
Yes.
something. And I thought, well, we're going to have to handle this because I can get in a lot of trouble looking for someone being lonely. I
Right,
can make a
right,
lot of mistakes. So God, we're gonna have to
right.
handle this emotion. And I'm talking to myself. I'm like, no, you're fine. You're okay. You're not by yourself, because that's what you be saying. I'm by myself. I'm lonely. I ain't got nobody. I don't have nobody to talk to. I don't. And so in my mind, I thought, yes, I do have people to talk to. I have people to talk to. They may not necessarily be of the opposite sex, but I have people I can talk to. So that's not the real reason.
Right.
And so I had to get over that feeling, and make sure that because you, like I said, you can make a lot of mistakes if that
Yeah.
is your only reason for uh dating someone. If that's your only reason, it can't be your only reason. It's got to be more than that. You got to like the person. You
Right.
got to have to me, you got to have some things that are in common. And I may get in trouble for saying this, may cause people to be like, I don't know about her. But one day I was driving, I thought, I need somebody um, that I can, I guess what you call it, duel with, I guess. And what I mean by that, I don't want somebody that I got to raise. I know that sounds
Right.
crazy, but
No, which
I don't want nobody I got to raise. I want somebody who already knows the word, but I don't want nobody super spiritual that every word come out of their mouth has got to be
Right.
scripture.
right.
But I want somebody who will walk with me in the word,
Right.
uh, talk about it, and yet still have fun, not be uptight. And I don't know. These are just thoughts that I have whenever I think about it. I'm thinking it can't just be anybody, not because I'm
Right.
picky, but as I said before, because of my position, I don't want to raise nobody either.
Because of the position you have. I totally understand that, because
Yeah.
there's have to be still someone basically on your level or confident that he can separate the pastor from Deborah. And so it
Exactly.
has to be, yeah, and it has to be. Uh, a long time I tried to get Q to call me Kenny. And she's, oh, I can't call you that. I can't call you that. So she wound up calling me Fuller. She wound up calling me Fuller, but she said I could call you that. Why are you talking about dating? Question I want to ask.
Yes.
First, are you interested in dating someone younger? Is there an age group? And also, how should a man, some men don't know, so how should a man approach a woman like you?
You should, you know what? You should do a class, a tutorial.
That's what you,
Fuller,
that's what you keep
I'm
saying.
really going to ask Fuller that question. So
Yeah.
go on with the age, Deborah, and then we're going to have.
Okay, along with the age. Um, mm, maturity is the thing for me. Let me put it that way. I don't want a baby, but I want somebody.
Amen. Amen.
I'm
Amen.
not
They're
I'm
watching
not
too
raising.
now.
I know I'm not raising anybody, but
Right.
I want somebody who they have to be mature. Let me just put it that way. And I don't know if I can put give a list of qualifications. I think I just have to meet the person. And if it's right, it's right. If it's wrong, it's wrong. Let me put it that way. So, so I'm not looking for any particular age. However, I've had young men to approach me in the grocery store, and I look at them, and I can't help it but think,
All
yeah, I
right.
think you're the age of my oldest son. I don't know.
Wow, Deborah, go Deborah, go Deborah.
I don't know. I don't know. And I
Yeah,
would,
it's gonna help.
I actually would laugh, and I think if you knew how old I was, you'd probably run.
Right.
That's good.
Oh man, that's good.
Yes. So
So,
on to Fuller's question now,
hmm
How should
which is
have
how would you like a man to
So
approach you? And then we're going to ask Fuller the same question so he can kind of
okay.
school some of the men on how to approach someone like you.
Okay. Well, first of all, respectful. Just respectful. Let me just put it that way, because so far, well, at any rate, just be respectful. Just say hello. And you know something,
Yeah.
the approach sometimes depend on whether you know a person or not.
Right.
If you already know me, just a conversation, hello, how you doing, and go on from that point. I find that sometimes people are searching for words; they don't know what to say. I don't search for words. I mean, if there's a commonality, we'll talk about whatever that is. I, I don't. Other than just don't be rude. Like, don't walk up to me and tell me I look like a bottle of Pepto Bismol. Don't
Bottom.
don't say that. I mean, you can just walk up and compliment me. You look nice today. I mean, eh,
Yeah.
again, it depends on whether you know the person or not. If I know the person, I expect for their conversation
Right.
to arrive from something we may know, something
Yeah.
that might be in common. A
Right.
perfect stranger, I hadn't talked to perfect strangers in a long time, but I'm friendly to a lot of people. I mean, I speak to people all the time. Hey, how you doing? I don't care if we talk about the corn. If we're in the grocery store, that's fine. That's but
It's a
yes,
start.
don't don't approach me in a sexual way initially. Don't approach me like that,
Yeah.
because that would just turn me off. You understand?
Right.
Overly, that's why I say a compliment, but let's
Right.
not
Like
let's not
overboard. Go overboard.
don't go overboard like that. Don't give me riddles. You want me to solve. Uh,
Yeah. Gotcha.
Listen, guys, I haven't done this in 41
Yeah. You
years.
sound
I
like
understand.
Fuller.
Yeah. Because I told her
So,
I didn't know anything about dating or courting. I don't know how to do that anymore.
Yeah.
right,
You know.
right. Yeah, I don't think
But I found a way.
Yeah. Yeah.
you
It's
you
good for,
found I see you
yeah.
found a way.
I
Yeah.
found a
Right.
way.
But see, you all already knew each other. It wasn't like you were approaching or talking to a perfect stranger. And you
Well,
already were.
I don't know though. It was
We had never met
because we
officially.
never
Well,
seen.
I mean, not necessarily that you said anything, but
Right.
you had
Yeah.
Yeah,
seen
I've
her.
seen each other. Right.
And the conversations you did start to have with each other, they appear to have been easy.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Well,
understand what I'm saying?
yeah.
It was easy. It wasn't forced. It was easy. And so that's what I'm looking for. If it's easy to talk to you, then we can do that. There's some people I've talked to and I'm thinking,
Yeah. No.
they don't know how to talk to people. So
Right. Yeah.
I think it's good for man, first of all, the physical presentation has to be good.
mhm.
I think, if you don't get your nails and feet done, at least have your nails clean,
You talking about the men?
have your shoes shine, I mean, a physical presentation. You have your beard or mustache or clean shave, and you
Mhm.
go up to them, and I would ask you,
Breath is
if I
right.
didn't know you,
Breath
I
is
would ask
right.
you, what's your name? And I said, oh, that's a nice sweater you got on. Oh, that looks like it might be Carcanal, or it look like it might be a Gucci sweater. So I'm finding a conversation that
Right.
that you can engage them, that I can engage them, and
Mhm.
I would say, just begin to phone. We'll begin to just try to, especially whether we're on the phone or whether we're in person, I'm trying to keep on talking so I can find an interest that you're interested in, whether it's sports, whether it's politics, whether it's movies. And I'm gonna try to find, you say, oh, I love movies. Well, I'm gonna try to find a movie that you have seen or hadn't seen. And one of the things, if you've seen it, we can talk about it. And if you hadn't seen it, would you be interested in going to a matinee with me? You know, up in the daytime when you know, it's daylight, you drive your car to the place, I'll meet you there. And so those are the kind of approach that I would make and that I did make. And it worked out, you know, just finding what you're interested in and then investing in and finding conversation. Because I don't know what you tell me something I don't know about, and I'm gonna go home and look it up. So when I talk to you again, I'm gonna have enough knowledge of that subject of what you like to greet you. And then I would bring something, a rose, 3 flowers, 3 roses,
sent to her office.
right, some candy or something sent there, you know, just something small, because you don't want to overwhelm them. You know, you send them about 5 dozen roses, you know, and they go, I don't know what's wrong with this boy, right? And so just something to show that I'm interested. Just something to show that I'm interested. And you might say, well, I meet tomorrow might be bad. I have to take my car over to the dealership. So do you have a ride back? Or let me go with you and help you talk to the guy, because you know they try to take advantage of women. So if I just meet you there and I'll conversate with him and we can talk to him together.
I think the few things that you said are really key, just in how to not only approach a woman in general, women in general.
Right.
What you shared was women in general. So when you start talking about a woman of God that is at a Deborah Poe status, those things also still apply. But it'd be nice, fellas. You know, I feel like I'm not on the same playing field as Deborah Poe, because I'm not a pastor over a ministry, over a large church that has many sister and brother. You know, you got many ministries involved in you understand what I'm saying. So, but it would be great if you would just, you know, send something to her office and just say, this is for, you know, secretary, administrator, would you mind providing this or giving this to Deborah Poe? You may not even leave your name initially, or you can leave your name. This is from whoever. Well, let me ask you a question before I go because I got a list of things that I would love for somebody that Fuller did, that we, Deborah Poe, have to school our men on what we need. Because we got a lot of men that even though they may be in our age bracket, they just don't know what to say, fellas. You know, and so, but it would just be great if people just understood just to approach it with a conversation. How are you today? How are you today? You look lovely. Or you look so nice. And then, like Fuller said, all those things, but we need to have a Fuller or a Glover. Let me see who is on. Come on, Rick Layton. Come on, Rick Layton. Get on here. We need a 3-way you in here.
Good doctor.
Dr. Rick Layton. Yeah, Ivy Pimmons, and this is good. Ivy Pimmons says, don't communicate in acronyms. What does she mean by that? Texting a sister? Don't be talking about what you, first of all, don't text. Ben Fuller did a lot of texting because I was thrown off by the fact that he was Bishop Fuller. But we had a conversation already. Go ahead.
She said she couldn't get past my voice. Because that voice, she said,
I
hear you the voice, oh.
But
she couldn't get past
all that texting and stuff.
Yeah.
We too old for that. Deborah, you know, whether you, I'm just gonna say, I'm gonna make us look like we really are 30 on up. We don't want you to text us and know what you're doing. No, call me, have a conversation so I know who you are and what you know, who you are, the whole you. I don't need to know riddles and, like you said, the riddles and things like that, but it's a simple approach.
What captivated you about all the conversation?
That we had a conversation. That we talked about, we didn't talk, it was also very helpful for me, Deborah Poe, that Fuller did go to the ministry. So I knew his character already. So,
Yeah.
and it was easy to talk to. It was simple. It went deep. So like you hear us playing around with the music and stuff, we saved, but we like to have fun. I told Fuller, I wanted my life to be better than its best and greater than the greatest. So whatever I had before, I wanted it to go to another level. And so he fed off of just having that conversation. He was like, oh my gosh, that's so great. I didn't even know he was trying to come on to me, because it wasn't even a come on. It was just a conversation. Because he said to me, I don't even know how to dance. Like, Fuller, come on now. So a brothers that come along, they can just have a general conversation. Hey, Pastor Poe, great message today. Did an outstanding job. See, Deborah Poe, I got a whole bunch of more questions. I know we're getting a long time, but I'm not going to orchestra practice tonight. So people can say if they want to, they can leave if they want to. So they can pick back up. They can watch replay. They can start now and then go back and watch their little Netflix and then come on back in and watch this, right? And so, but for the fellas that even at your church, when they want to come to you and they say a few things to you, just in general. There's just, I know it's simple. You don't have to be deep. Just keep it on a high level. Yeah, I mean, so I started thinking about your son, Greg Poe, that now is he's one of your senior ministers, or he's over one of the ministries, right? One of the churches.
Right. Well, no, he came back. He's right here. He's in Tampa, at the Tampa church. So our extended campuses, we appointed pastors there because of the things that we needed to do here. So he does a lot of our video. He does a lot of work in that area. So, but yes, I did think about my older children. I know that you consider that to a certain degree when you thinking perhaps that maybe there may be somebody else to come into your life. I think I'm okay with them. I believe I am. I believe I am, but I'm sure that they would be protective, of course.
Right.
And they want me to be happy, but they, of course, want to be protective. And I would consider those things. To me, it's different dynamics sometimes, because I thought to myself, would you be willing to resign your position here and go somewhere else? I'm not really sure if I want to do that. I'm not really sure if that's something that I want to do. Especially now, maybe a little bit. Nah, I don't think so. But this is why I'm saying I don't really know. Till you meet the person, you really don't know sometimes what your responses are going to be. So to put me in a box and just say, okay, this is the way it's going to be, I just don't live my life like that. And so therefore I'm open to anything that God presents to me, and I just believe that I have the wisdom and the knowledge to vet it through. You understand what I'm saying? To vet it through, because as you said, Mr. Fuller, you had these people that were texting you and trying to get with you, and you could have answered at any time.
Right.
But you made a decision not to do it that way. And the
that
way
can get you in trouble.
Because that can get you in trouble. So I pray to God I got enough wisdom.
I'm glad Darlene came along, because I probably would have been in trouble.
You've been
the strong faith that I got, I have needs.
Listen, you know what? And you know something, and God is so good that he understands all those things. He really
He
does.
knows us individually.
He knows us individually, because I've had friends that say that were their husband went home to be with the Lord, and they are in the pastoral position, and they are just totally dead against marriage, have been for years, don't want to discuss it. I did happen to have one lady I was talking to. She says, I'm never getting married. And I just asked her, I said, is that what God told you to do? Is that what you decided? And so she said, finally she said, I just somehow thought that was something I was supposed to do. I said, well, why don't you think about it again? Why don't you think about it again and see if that's what God is really telling you to do, if that's something you think other people think you ought to do. And so it was really pretty cool, because I saw her change her dress, change her hair. I mean, and it was great. And now she's actually enjoying life
Right.
because if anything, it was imprisoning her to
Yeah.
think that I have to stay single for the rest of
Right.
my life, and maybe that wasn't what you actually wanted to do at all. So again,
Dr. Layton said something to me that was so profound.
uh-huh.
And he said, first of all, he called me in the first of the year, and he gave me a word from the Lord
Mm-hmm.
that it was going to get better. And he
Mm-hmm.
said, "This is going to be your greatest year." And Gene just passed. I'm saying, how can this be? You know, no, it was right before Gene passed. And he said, God's going to open some doors. You're going to open doors for you. Some things going to happen. Your life will be fulfilled, and all.
Mm-hmm.
And then Gene passed. So I didn't have a word of God. I had a word from God.
Yeah.
And then met Q, and months later, Dr. Dollar offered me it's called life. He told me, I want you to do this. It's called life. So
Right.
things began to
Right.
happen, just like Doc said. But
Mm-hmm.
then when we start telling our story, we weren't married yet. We just start controlling the narrative of our story.
Mm-hmm.
He said, Bishop, you and Darlene have given people license to live, license to have fun. You give them joy. Because I have a cousin who was faithful for 15 years to her dead husband. And she was faithful for 15 years. She said, I wish someone would have came along and said, it's all right to breathe. It's all right to have fun. And now she's been married again. Now she's been married about 15 years now.
Oh, wow. That's great.
And she's a pastor. And she's a
Okay.
pastor too. And she married unmarried a younger man. And he's mature. He honored her as the pastor, but she's the pastor when she at the church. But she's his wife when she get home.
Right. Yeah, because I have to say, Deborah, I wonder if, and we know it's true that maybe there are some men that go to the ministry. I got a second part to that, so remind me to ask you this question. Not that you want to remind me, but I'm gonna ask you. So I wonder if there's some men at the church that think, if I did approach a Deborah Poe, and so they're thinking in the future, would I have to be over the ministry? Would I have to pastor the church? What would she expect? I mean, this is a great woman of God, and Greg Poe was such a big presence. And what would a Deborah Poe? How could I do that? But go ahead. I want you to, because you got something to say on that one.
Well, let's see. It's not necessarily like that, because my son actually is lead pastor of the church, and I'm the overseer. So I still preach and I teach, and I'm more of a place of advisory and counsel and helping to make some decisions because, of course, I'm still on the board. But no, I wouldn't expect for someone to come in and just say, "Hey, how do I run the church?" Um, no, that's not something. Something again, unless it's a gifting and that is what God ordained to take place. That's why I said I'm open to whatever God is presenting to me. I'm not gonna put it in a box and determine how it's supposed to go. I'm going to trust God that He will, as He's been doing, that He will lead me in a decision concerning a relationship like I should do. I'm not going to put God on the back burner in what I'm doing in any area of my life. I want to be prayerful about it, and I'm not trying to be deep, but I just think that God has good for my life, and so I don't want to be making choices and decisions based upon anything other than God wants good. If I see good, then I see good. If
Good
and
is
so
good.
right, good is
It's
good.
good.
As I said before, just listening to you guys' testimony of how you came together, you were already having good conversations. You were already you understand. There's some things that are just there that gives you the go ahead to move forward, if that makes sense.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so you have people in your lives. Some of them were happy for you. Some of them were confused by it. But nonetheless, they still wanted your good. And I believe they probably prayed for you guys more than what you think.
Yeah.
And that
Probably.
They probably prayed for you more than you ever could think because they wanted the best for you. And those who were bold enough to come and ask the question about, are you sure? Do you think this is right? That type of thing. Some of it was out of care.
Right.
Some of it was out of curiosity, but some of
Sure.
it was genuine. Some of it was genuine care. And I believe that those people who mean the most to you, if they'd have been shaking their heads, no, I think you may have put maybe a pause in it.
Yeah.
But I'm at the point now, for real. I'm at the point now. I'm like, God, I just can't be on the side of worry, depression, stress. I'm not going to carry anything I don't need to carry. I'm not going to sit around worrying whether somebody's going to approach me, whether they're not going to approach me. I can't live my life like that. And because God said that He came to give me life more abundantly, filled to the full till it overflows.
Right.
I want to live that kind of life, whether I'm living it with somebody or without somebody. I just believe God will orchestrate it and make it right. So that is my stance. That's why I guess I can't say, oh, do you think you'll get married again? I don't know. I didn't know whether I was going to get married the first time, but
Right.
Greg Post showed up
Amen.
and we clicked. And so we said, I do. And we worked it all out. So, hey.
The reason I think that you will have someone soon is because you're complete in yourself.
Yeah.
So you don't need another person to make you happy. You've already got the joy of the Lord, and you're at peace with yourself, and you know yourself, and that confidence, it's going to repel the person that's supposed to be there, and God will, and you will know it, and with your peace, because you're whole by yourself. So you got to be whole by yourself where you can enter into another relationship, and I think that's good.
I remember when you said to me, Darlene, I believe that God had you on layaway for me.
He knew I was coming.
Yeah.
He knew I was coming.
So same thing for Deborah Post. I believe God has got her
on layaway.
She got the finest blouses on, the baddest jeans on. She's already her presence, that door is already on her. So when
presence demand an explanation.
And so look, you laughing, but when you tell us the whatever time frame that happens is, we'll all laugh and say, my God.
Deborah is a magnet for all things good. All things good. So love and kindness is always in season. And I just believe you should demonstrate that. And I just believe without a doubt that you will be fulfilled. That God will give you the desire of your heart, with nothing missing, nothing lacking, and it'll be the right person at the right time. And I have no word for you, because we love you dearly.
Deborah, do you have any last minute words you want to leave with us today? This is part 3. This is our last episode.
I know. I just want people to relax and enjoy life. You just relax and enjoy life, because just like you, Bishop Fuller, the year that Greg passed, he was declaring it was going to be the best year ever. And I can remember asking God, wait, did he miss that? Or am I supposed to really be having the best year ever? Because if it's from you, then I should have the best year ever. And so I made a decision to walk that way. And I just encourage people to don't get anxious for anything, because as you said, God knows the desires of our hearts. You don't want to make poor choices. Don't put a time limit on it. Just like women say, if I'm not married by this time, I'm past my age bearing, the clock is ticking. Don't put any of that. Don't do any of that. My Greg's mom married 3 times.
Wow.
Each one of her husbands passed, but she married 3 times. And I think the last time she got married, she was in her 70s.
Wow.
And my mother also remarried.
Right.
As well. So, I mean, my sister didn't get married till she was 41. Enjoy your life and just let things happen naturally. That's what I say.
Yes. Well, thank you so much, Deborah Poe, for joining us. And babe, look, I mean, all 3, I feel like this needs to be a Netflix.
It still feels incomplete.
Yeah, we need a number. We're not gonna make her do a number 4.
So when we come back to Paris, now you can start over and do a number 1 with them. No, but seriously, we really enjoyed you. I said,
Oh, I've enjoyed myself too. Darlene made me think. She made me some thoughts I wouldn't take all the way to the end and get an answer. When I'd hang up with her, I'm like, oh man, okay, so now you got to think about it.
Because you wouldn't get no questions in advance. This is not, it's called life.
but I'm saying, again, I said it last week, I'm saying only eternity will be able to tell what the impartation you made to our life and our life for the people that's streaming.
Yes.
All right.
But thank you, Deborah Poe. And look, you guys, when is our anniversary? November the 6th.
November 6th.
Tomorrow we are headed to Paris for our honeymoon and thank you all for the seeds that y'all sowed into our wedding. And we took all of those seeds and we put it into going to Paris. And so tomorrow we're getting on our flight and we will be gone for a little while, but we're going to do Monday's GodFidence live from Paris. It'll be midnight our time in Paris, but it'll be the regular 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 5 p.m. here. Or here at
so we're gonna give a shout out on our anniversary.
Yeah.
But then I want to ask you, you've been to London, I know, several times, and Paris. Did you go to Harrods?
Yes.
And that's what I'm gonna take, Darlene. We're gonna catch the train and go down from Paris to London. We're gonna catch the super train, and it's 2 hours drive, and so we get a chance to see the countryside. But I was telling her about Harrods. Tell her.
Oh, listen, it's. I wish I could find the words. When I went in that place, I was like, I cannot believe this. Just floors of things, and just about every designer you ever even thought about, even things, even not designers. I was speechless. Let me just say, I was speechless. You can buy anything in that store, from Louis Vuitton to a chicken.
and the individual floors are so large and so
they are.
I mean, I all of the find somebody, you got to call your cell phone because they can't, because the floor's so big, you still miss them and be on the same floor.
It is the truth. Listen, you cannot actually take it all in one day. I promise you, but you can try.
We only have one day there, so we're gonna have to get at it.
Oh, you're gonna have to get at it. That is the truth. That's the truth. But it's awesome.
Okay.
You're gonna love it. You're gonna love it.
Yes, Deborah Poe. Last show, you got to dance or something.
Come on, Deborah.
I'm listening.
Okay, all right, there you go.
This is ladies' night. Cool little game, y'all.
Oh wow.
She's like, oh.
We love you.
Thank you, Deborah Poe.
Love you too. I enjoyed myself. Yes. Love you. Love you guys.
Until next time. We'll see you guys.
Ma'am. Yes, ma'am. All right.
See you guys. We love you. Thank you for joining tonight.
Okay.
Take care.